Sir Rod Stewart, good to hear from you this afternoon. Thank you so much for calling in. What made you pick up the phone?
Sarah, hi. I've been watching the programme all day, and yesterday I went for my yearly scan, which is private, obviously, and I was 20 minutes late, and I phoned in. I said, I'm terribly sorry, I'll be there. Then I was a half an hour late. I phoned in, I got in there, and I said, I'm so sorry, I'm so late. They said, oh, we're not busy at all. We've only got a couple of customers today. I won't tell you where it was, but my point being, this is ridiculous, you know, and I would like to pay 10 for 10 or 20 scans. I don't know how we're going to work this out, and hopefully some other people will follow, because it seems ridiculous that this particular scanning clinic was empty and there are people dying because they cannot get scans. Now, listen to me, I don't need the publicity. I just want to do some good things, and this, I think, is a good thing. And if other people follow me, I'd love it.
Sir Rod Stewart, that's such a generous thing to do. Thank you for calling us, and somehow we'll work it out, because that's such a great offer. And I'm sure, you know, callers like Ezra that we spoke to earlier on the programme here, who's been through prostate cancer. I mean, that kind of generosity is literally a lifeline. You've been through two bouts, been like within the NHS.
Well, obviously it wasn't within the NHS. I went privately because, you know, I've got a few shillings, as you know, Sarah. But it was tremendous. But I know darn well, this NHS has to be rebuilt. It's been around since 1947. It's got to be rebuilt with billions and billions of dollars. That's the only way we're going to go around it. Okay? And tell Eddie I'll pay for his scan and 10 or 20 others, however much it takes.
Oh, and so, Rod, you know, I know you watch Sky News a lot, and you'll be well aware of all the strike action that's taking place amongst NHS staff. It's continuing into February and March. There's no end in sight. What are your thoughts on what the government should be doing about NHS workers who want decent pay and they want conditions? They want to save the NHS, in their words.
Absolutely. They're not asking for a great deal. I personally have been a Tory for a long time, but I think this government should stand down now and give the Labour Party a go at it, because this is heartbreaking for the nurses. It really is heartbreaking. In all my years of living in this country, I've never seen it so bad. And anything I can do to help, go on the nurses, I'm on your side.
I'm sure you have family members who have used the NHS as well. Like you said, there are people like yourself lucky enough to be able to afford private care, and that's something that more and more people are exploring, whether they're wealthy, middle-income earners, or are just scraping the money together to help themselves or family members. How important is it that we have a health service, a national health service, that is free at the point of entry, from the cradle to the grave, if you like? How important is it that the NHS stays as it is and isn't privatised? Or is that some way of saving it, privatising it in part?
Well, maybe there's somewhere down the middle. You know, if we're going to privatise it, it could become terribly expensive. As for my family, my immediate family and all my kids, I'm lucky enough to send them to private service. But I don't know. This is a bad time for us in Great Britain. It really is. Change the bloody government.
OK. Well, Sir Rod Stewart, you're making your political points very clear here on Sky News. Do have to point out, obviously, that people do have other views. And, you know, we have had callers on here saying, give Rishi Sunak a chance. They promised to sort out the National Health Service and other issues facing the country. But, of course, you know, the government have been around for over a decade now, which is the counterpoint to this argument.
This private sector thing is interesting, because the NHS is has more contracts with the private sector now than it did before COVID. It's making a huge use of the private sector, but because the private sector charges a premium to private patients, and they don't get paid as much for doing work for the NHS as they do for their private clients.
And what we see...
And so there's no great incentive for them to do it.
And what we see with private services, and I've experienced this as well with my own family, is whenever they can sort of cream off the patients who they want to see. So if there is any risk, for example, in mental health services, or if there are sort of difficult cases, or when things go really badly wrong, actually people are fed back into the NHS.
But that's it. It is interesting. They've got I think I'm right in saying they've got about 800 operating theatres. Most of them don't have ITUs. So if anything goes wrong during an operation, they have to ring 999.
Roy, bear with me. We do have to say goodbye to Sir Rod Stewart. Thank you so much for calling in. Just a final question, if I may. You've been listening to the programme today. members of the public calling in, having their say this afternoon. Is there a particular story that's resonated with you?
Every one of them. I must admit, I have the television on on in the background while I'm working on my model railroad. But it's just terribly sad. I'm so proud to be British, and I can't stand it being in this way. So you're doing a great job, you guys on there. Keep up the good work, and I'm a big fan, Sarah.
Oh, well, funnily enough, I'm a big fan of yours.
Oh,
Who
okay.
isn't?
Take care, you guys.
My mum's favourite, Maggie May. Oh,
Okay, I'll sing
song
it
at her
for you.
wedding.
Wake up, Maggie, I think I got something to say to you.
We did wonder how we were going to end the programme on a positive note today, and so Rod Stewart, you had delivered, lifting all of our spirits with a song.
20 scans.
And the offer of 10 to 20 cancer scans for people. We'll get in touch off air, Sir Rod Stewart, and we'll sort that out. Thank you so much for calling us here on NHS Crisis, Your Say. Thank you. You never know who's watching. You never know who's watching.